I'm on a mission to change the way people think about work, and I'm on this journey for personal reasons. My parents made me think about what I was going to be when I grew up from a very early age, and in fairness to them, they ideally would have liked for me to get a good job, to become a doctor, to go into finance, or become a lawyer. They wanted the best for me, and these jobs were what they considered to be the best for the security of my future. But none of those jobs sounded interesting to me. In fact, I knew that I wanted to be a writer. Now, that scared my parents off entirely because as far as they knew, writers didn't make much money. My choice to pursue the work I enjoyed doing resulted in a lot of tension between me and my parents. They meant well in trying to steer me towards secure work, but they failed to ask me what I was good at and how I could harness those skills into proper paying work. I'm lucky to say that through constant practice, patience, and perseverance, I have been able to monetize my skills into good paying work. But that's not the reality for many people today, and that's what I want to change. It starts with a fundamental belief that jobs will always come and go, but skills will be the currency of the future, and that generational circumstances will also matter that didn't exist before. For instance, by the time students get out of high school or any higher learning, the job market will be a very different place. You'll have the onset of automation displacing a number of low-skilled or highly manual labor jobs. Arguments for a basic income where anyone can earn a foundational stipend every month could free up people to pursue what truly makes them happy. Now, we don't know how any of this will play out, but we can be certain that the right skills will determine the success of individuals in whatever this future job market will become. To understand that, we have to get better at helping people assess what they are good at, what they like doing, and how that can be useful to an employer or how it can be monetized for the marketplace. The sweet spot in the middle is what students of any generation should aim to achieve. Ultimately, everyone should have the ability to do meaningful work that they enjoy. Now, before I jump into the skills for surviving work in the 21st century, I want to point out that I'm not here to talk trash. I believe that it's important to acknowledge how far we've come as workers, business owners, teachers, counselors, engaged parents, or students. It would be easy for me to say that practices from the past are outdated and useless, but that's not fair. That's why I'm using my skills as a writer, my access to an audience and network to help update and adjust what exists today. We don't always have to reinvent the wheel if we can take what works well and make it work even better. More importantly, I want to update what works for our current needs. Now, I'm going to start with what I call my Holy Trinity model. These three skills are the bedrock to everything: organization, process, and communication. If you want to succeed in any employment endeavor or entrepreneurial adventure, you have to master these three skills. I've borrowed much of this from high school assignment rubrics, but instead of assessing how someone performed in an essay, we could assess how a person performs on activities geared toward career and enterprise training. Now, I publish a regular Q&A column called What Do You Do? And the segment highlights unique jobs and the people behind them, especially the skills required to do those jobs well. In my interviews, I frequently hear my subjects mention the Holy Trinity as a foundation to that success. Let's take a look. My friend Kristen works for the Canadian Space Agency, and she trains astronauts on how to perform science experiments on board the International Space Station. Kristen is highly educated with a degree in engineering, but without all these points of the triangle, Kristen would not be suitable for the job she does today. My friend Ben composes music for film and television, and he told me that writing music is the easy part. What he had to truly master was organization and communication skills, things like selling his skills to directors and producers, ensuring that deadlines were met, making sure he got paid. Ben is essentially running his own business, so a basic understanding of accounting is crucial to his work. Maddie Matheson is a popular chef and online personality. He hosts Dead Set on Life, a popular travel and food show for Vice. In our conversation, he pointed out that prepping and cooking was the easy part. In fact, you can do that fairly well with enough practice. But what he truly had to develop was communication skills. If he couldn't communicate to his team, then the whole kitchen was in danger of collapsing. My friend Tiffany is a merchandiser for a large North American fashion brand. Tiffany knew that she wanted to be in fashion, but didn't think being a designer or model would be sustainable. Instead, she looked at work in the bigger ecosystem of fashion, and it's now her job to organize and market each season's product to her customers. Beyond her flair for taste and style, she had to develop process and communication skills in order to collaborate with the entire retail supply chain that exists in the background of the fashion world. Lastly, there's my friend Megan, who tutors underprivileged students on technology skills development. Megan's a lively, enthusiastic communicator, but her organization and process skills were holding her back from doing the job well. Megan recognized how important those skills are to the success of her work as a teacher and continues to research creative techniques that she can apply every day. So how can this model be applied to others? Well, what I envision is a spectrum that can measure a person's ability to be organized, to manage or implement a process, and to communicate effectively. For example, you could run exercises or activities that try to ask the following about an individual throughout the experience. How organized are you? Are you someone who stays on top of to-dos? Where do you fall on the spectrum for organization? The same can be asked for process. How well do you implement and execute on an idea? Ideas are everywhere, but execution is what stands out. And lastly, communication. How well do you communicate your idea and its implementation to others? What can we do with this information? Well, it presents a unique opportunity for mentorship. What if we could pair students who are strong performers in key areas with students who don't perform so well? What if they could learn and develop from each other? If you're already in the working world, this kind of skills assessment can help you analyze where you are strongest and where you need to do a bit of work. So now we have our foundation, but what other skills will people need to survive work in the 21st century? For starters, an entrepreneurial mindset will certainly be crucial. For that, we can look to the business world for inspiration. But what's really going on here? Why would thinking like an entrepreneur help someone succeed? Well, being entrepreneurial doesn't just have to mean starting your own business. An entrepreneurial mindset can also mean thinking like a business owner. And it encourages a few crucial traits in the long journey of any career. Things like your willingness to fail, the ability to experiment, to think creatively about problem solving, and to exist as a free agent in a world where long-term permanent employment is on the decline. Then there's technical ability, which may seem obvious in the digital age, but the real challenge is matching an individual's technical skill set to the needs of the marketplace. Students may exhibit strong abilities with social media, web development, or software, but how capable are they of flexing those skills for a company or client in the job market? Now, you don't have to be a technology expert, but you do have to understand the impact technology continues to have on the workplace and employment. Virtual and remote work options are increasingly becoming the norm for companies. It's cheaper for companies, it allows teams to attract talent from anywhere in the world, and it offers individuals the flexibility to work however and wherever they want. That could be a tough adjustment for people who are accustomed to the rigid structures they've learned in schools or corporate offices. People who can become increasingly mobile and use that advantage to be productive will certainly stand out. Your mobility will dictate the quality of work and compensation. There are countries who are hungry for your skills, which opens the possibility of getting hired without leaving your hometown. Although schools may offer language programs as part of the curriculum, how often are those language programs linked to future job market success? It's one thing for students to learn English well, but can they also master a core language for an emerging market? If you're interested in learning another language merely for the challenge, it might also help to think about the market impact of your new verbal skills. English isn't the only language that'll matter in the 21st century. Now, when I talk about portfolio careers, I don't mean working one job and driving an Uber or waiting tables at night. I'm talking about constant reinvention where your skills can match the changing forces in the job market. Take a look at the many different kinds of jobs I've had over my career as a writer. None of these jobs existed when I was in high school, but I knew how my skills as a writer, communicator, and content creator could blend into these market needs. Whether you're working now or in school, you also face the same task of understanding how the skills you have can be transferred to new jobs as they appear. In fact, you might even have to invent your own job. For me, that's meant getting paid for my hobbies. The skills I've mentioned to you here are just the beginning. We could go on and on about the variety of soft and hard skills you will need to navigate for education and employment decisions in the future. That's where I need your help, because I'm on a mission to build the career learning center of the 21st century, a place where people from any walk of life can build the skills to navigate the frequently changing world of work. To do that, I need to turn career planning upside down. That's why I'm visiting schools, companies, institutions, and organizations to find out what's working, what's not, and what could be better. My goal is to develop and test exercises, course content, and other solutions that can help everyone build the skills they need to find meaningful, well-paying work. More importantly, I want to bring an end to the exhausting and frustrating conversations that take place when a person is tasked with answering the question, "So, what do you want to be?" If you're interested in helping me learn more, then shoot me an email or connect with me on Twitter. I'm happy to meet with you in person or over the phone to discuss what we can accomplish together. Thanks.